Today we're meal prepping honey sriracha rice bowls. The rice bowl style meal where you just mix everything together is my favorite kind of recipe to meal prep. This one's got chicken thighs, broccoli, carrots, and onions with the honey sriracha garlic sauce. So let's get to it. Here's how you make it. Start off by preparing your rice. In the final dish, you're going to need 4 cups or 600 grams of cooked rice. That's going to be anywhere between 1 and 2 cups of dry rice depending on what kind of rice you use. Add some water and rinse it until the water runs clear. If you have any extra rice left over after the end, now you've got an excuse to make some fried rice or a snack for late night when you need something to eat. Next up, we'll make the sauce, which will also double as our chicken marinade. You're going to need 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of minced garlic, so take 3 to 4 cloves of garlic and grate them up with a microplane. Then find a scale, place a bowl over the top, and start adding in your sauce ingredients. 3 tablespoons or 45 grams of soy sauce, 1.5 tablespoons or 23 grams of lime juice, 2.5 tablespoons or 40 grams of sriracha, 2 teaspoons or 10 grams of sesame oil, 1/4 of a cup or 84 grams of honey, and 1/2 tablespoon or 7.5 grams of minced garlic. Give that bowl a strong mix so the honey gets incorporated into the other liquids and the garlic is well distributed throughout the sauce. Next up, to make the most efficient use of your time, you'll want to prepare the chicken. So get 2 pounds or 908 grams of boneless, skinless chicken thighs and place them into a large bowl, cutting off any excess fat or skin if you feel it's necessary. Chicken thighs are almost always preferred over chicken breast for meal prep because the slightly higher fat content helps them reheat better in the microwave and they are more forgiving when cooked. Take about 1/3 to 1/2 of the sauce you just made and pour it over the top of the chicken. Stir it around with your hands to make sure that all the surfaces are evenly coated with the sauce. Now ideally you'll wait and allow this chicken to marinate for like 30 minutes, maybe a couple of hours. But just like I said last week, waiting is for dead people, so I'm not going to do that. What am I going to sit here for an hour while the chicken takes a bath? I got shit to do. I want to go play squash. Should I have had the foresight to start this earlier so I had time to allow it to marinate? Yes. But did I do that? I didn't. So here we are. Marinating's better, but if you're like me and you don't care, it's going to be fine without it. We're going to do the bake and broil method to cook these chicken thighs, so get out a sheet pan and line it with foil to make for easy cleanup and so you don't scorch the top of your pan. Lay out the chicken thighs with the smooth side facing down and ensure there's enough space between them to promote proper browning. Move into the oven and roast at 425 Fahrenheit or 217 Celsius for about 10 to 12 minutes. While the chicken is cooking, start chopping up all of your vegetables. Take 1 small onion or 1/2 of a medium-sized one of about 125 grams and cut it into thin slices. Then take 2 to 3 medium-sized carrots and cut them on a bias into a medium dice. For the broccoli, we're going to use 12 ounces or 340 grams worth. My store didn't have any of the full-size broccoli crowns, so I'm having to use this pre-cut stuff from the bag and just cut it into smaller broccoli florets. The size I go for here is thumb size or smaller. I want it to match the rest of the ingredients and all fit together in one cohesive bite. There's almost nothing I hate more than when broccoli's cut too big and you have to bite it in half while it's still in your fork just to be able to fit some in your mouth. That could possibly be considered my personal Vietnam. Next, you can take about 4 scallions or 50 grams worth and cut them into thin slices. Save the greens to garnish the top, and then you can cut the whites and add those to the pile with the rest of your onions. Depending on how quick you are with the knife, once you get done chopping the vegetables, you'll want to check on your chicken. It's likely been 10 to 12 minutes, so you can turn the oven to broil and place the tray on the top shelf of the oven if it's not already there. Keep a very close eye and nose on this chicken as it will be very prone to burning underneath the broiler. Next, we've got to stir fry all of our vegetables, so place a large skillet over medium-high heat and add 1/2 tablespoon or 7.5 grams of oil. Then you can dump in your broccoli and carrots first and allow those to saute for a few minutes to develop a bit of color. Season the vegetables here with a little bit of salt and stir them around. Once you see the vegetables take on a little bit of browning, you can add in a couple tablespoons of water to help them steam and cook faster. Slightly undercooking these so they still have a bit of bite to them will help with texture upon reheating. If you cook them too much, they're going to get mushy after they come out of the microwave. As you're cooking these vegetables, use your nose to help you determine where the chicken's at. After a couple of minutes, remove it from the oven and flip it over to the other side before returning it underneath the broiler. It's only going to need a couple of extra minutes from here to finish up cooking. And now let's get back to those vegetables. After roughly 3 to 4 minutes, you can create some space in the center of that pan, add another 1/2 tablespoon or 7.5 grams of oil, and then add in the sliced onions and garlic. Fresh garlic burns very easily, so if it's directly on the heat, make sure you keep it moving. Once the onions have just started to take on some color, you can stir them into the rest of the vegetables, and then create some more room in the center of your pan and add in 4 cups or 600 grams of cooked rice. Pour over the remaining sauce from your bowl and stir it all together until everything has been well incorporated and the sauce has colored all of the rice. Now at some point during this whole process, your chicken will have finished cooking, so make sure you pull it from the oven when you're happy with the level of browning that it has and allow it to rest. Give the chicken at least 5 minutes so you can return to the pan that's over the heat and finish up any cooking or stirring that you were doing earlier. Once the chicken has rested, it is time to cut. I like to toss or stir around the chicken thighs and any juices or sauce that's remaining on the pan. That's good flavor. Then you can transfer those chicken thighs over onto a cutting board and cut it up into small bite-sized pieces. The air fryer is another great way to cook this chicken that takes a little bit less babysitting than the bake and broil method. It will likely take 2 batches to fit it all, but I would just cook it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 204 Celsius for about 10 minutes, checking on it every couple of minutes to make sure that it's cooking properly. Now that all of your chicken has been cut, return to the skillet and add in all of the chicken. Stir it up until everything is evenly distributed, give it a taste test, and adjust any flavors as needed. You can add salt, pepper, or any of the components of the sauce as you see fit. This recipe will make 5 servings, so get out 5 of your meal prep containers and divide the contents of the skillet evenly between those 5 containers. The mix everything together rice bowl style of meal has always been one of my favorites because of how easy it makes it to eat your vegetables. When everything's cut to similar size and the bites on your fork contain a little bit of everything, it turns your vegetable eating experience from a 0 out of 10 to like a 1 out of 10. In my opinion, it's way better than eating just a big piece of broccoli that's included in a meal on the side. You can top each of these meals with some of those scallion tops we cut up earlier, and once you do that, you are finished. Each of these honey sriracha rice bowl meals has about 575 calories with 39 grams of protein. They will last for up to 5 days in the fridge, and I wouldn't say that this meal is the greatest candidate for a freezer meal, but I think you'd be fine getting by with doing that if you wanted to. Once the meals have cooled down close to room temperature, you can toss on the lids and move them into the fridge to be stored. You should be able to finish this one up in under an hour without too much trouble, making it a great option for some of those weeks you just don't feel like spending time in the kitchen. After I reheat each of these meals, I like to drizzle some extra sriracha over the top for a bit of extra flavor. The full written version for how to make these honey sriracha rice bowls is posted on my website, and I've included a link to that in the description of this video below. I hope you guys enjoy this one if you decide to try it out. That's all for this week. See you next time. Goodbye.